Okay. My theme really is that if we want to understand censorship, at least in Britain, you have to look a long, long way beyond the British Board of Film Censors, as they used to be called, and classification, as they're now called, although of course they're still censors, but they've changed their name, the classifiers. And I am going to talk very much about the UK case, but I'm also hoping that you will be able to come up with parallels, or for that matter, differences in the countries from which you all come from, which we can discuss later. So, okay, the theme is who are the UK film censors? Well, the first people are the British Board of Film Classification. But also it's very important to understand that in England, or in Great Britain, local councils have the power to censor films. That is, town councils or county councils. In fact, the British Board of Film Censors was set up to try to placate, as we will see, the power of the local authorities.
Okay, so good morning. I'm going to be speaking about André Kayat, and I'm guessing that most of you probably haven't heard of him. Actually, it would be interesting just to see a show of hands. Who has heard of André Kayat in the room? And how many have actually seen one of his films? All right. And I think, well, we'll get to this point, but there's a reason that people haven't heard about him, and we're going to be discussing again whether this is censorship or not.
Right, so to talk a little bit about promotion of exploitation film. Schaefer describes it as thought of as ethically dubious, industry marginal, and aesthetically bankrupt. And I'd say that's all criteria used to describe the video nasties during the period where people were trying to censor the films, though industrially marginal doesn't really apply, because during that period the major labels had displayed a reticence in getting on board with video as a technology. So in their space, independent distributors came in, they were making a lot of money, and then the major labels like Warner and all the big American companies wanted to wrestle control. So I don't think industrially marginal necessarily applies, but definitely the way it was pitched in the Daily Hate, that's will come on
out. Welcome to the Post-Cinema Workshop. This is the second day of the workshop. We have one more day. We're very welcome today to have three really interesting talks. One of the talks is actually somehow in collaboration with porn studies in a certain way. The section that we hope you will follow after ours. This is the marketing side of it. But besides that, so we have, first of all, Lise Dilling-Hansen from Aarhus University, who will be talking about weird plastic, but we still have fun, on the post-human performativity of Lady Gaga. And after that, we will have Sandra Gaudenzi, who will talk about space embodiment and interaction in interactive documentaries. And then we will have Christian Uva, who will talk about la performance numérique entre corps et ultracorps. So we will, I think, have a discussion after each one of the talks, because although they are linked to each other, we think it's better to have a small discussion before, and then maybe a common discussion at the end of the workshop if we feel like we still have time.
Creation of a new kind of monster, and going back quite a while. In the Middle Ages, the monster was considered a prodigy or a divine, or a sign of the divine power of God. At least it could be understood in this sense. But then came the Enlightenment, and hereby the measurement and the creation of norms, and therefore also the establishment of the body as wrong or abnormal in a negative sense in its deviating kind. So the big show appeared where the tallest guy in the world or the fattest lady in the world could be presented as sort of a amusement, but also horror of this abnormal body. And in modern time, I'm speaking in quite general terms here, but moving forward then to modern time, this divine body was completely bereft of ontological discourses, which means that it's considered sick or wrong, and that's a body that has to be cured in some way.
So my idea was to do a little introduction about interactive documentaries so that we all agree on what we're talking about to start with. And then since the topic of is the body, the idea was to see two different interactive documentaries and actually to discuss together. That was hopefully that's something you're happy to engage with, to discuss together about, you know, how do we understand the body when we are in a digital space. So hopefully we'll see two different examples, whether we can go online or not, because I have an offline recording everywhere, so you know, something should be there. But then the question is really, how do you feel when you watch that? Do you feel you have a body? What is this body? How do we define this body? I don't have an answer to this. I've prepared a couple of notes with ideas that I have, but those are not the answers. I think this is a field where, you know, we're here to discuss and we're here to discover together, and that's the idea.
Ogni studente ha disegnato, ripreso, montato il materiale video e ha registrato il suo proprio suono. Abbiamo poi insieme fatto un montaggio. Il titolo del film e anche l'argomento del corso è stato Una città in due. Siamo andati insieme sulla frontiera con la Slovenia. Siamo partiti da uno stesso punto e ognuno si è allontanato e ha scelto un posto nel quale cominciare le riprese. Ognuno ha ripreso, diciamo, con un telefonino o una camera, o camera a mano o posizionandolo, e ha filmato una o più riprese che sono state la base del materiale disegnato. Non abbiamo fatto uno storyboard, ma la proposta era comune, era di fare sì che ognuno lavorasse in modo personale, da solo, e che queste sequenze disegnate facessero parte di un film collettivo. È stato entusiasmante vedere come delle persone che non disegnano potessero raggiungere con questa naturalezza una qualità così alta. È stato per me veramente meraviglioso vedere come ognuno era concentrato nella sua propria necessità e nel piacere di svolgerla, e come anche fosse possibile condividere questa cosa. L'ultima parte di ripresa, fotografare, credo, insomma, tante centinaia di disegni, è stata anche molto complessa, perché tutto questo è successo in 5 giorni, insomma. E il montaggio di tutte le sequenze, quindi la ricerca di un racconto comune, è stato un processo veramente magico. Se pensi che sia necessario... ok. posso forse dire due parole conclusive. C'è una cosa che esiste in natura vicino a qui, no? Sapete, si chiama orrido, dove nascono i fiumi, no? Diciamo, è possibile scendere in alcuni luoghi tra le Dolomiti e qui, io ne ho visti 4, e si può arrivare alla sorgente dei fiumi sotterranei. Sono, come dire, diventa molto freddo anche d'estate, e si arriva, diciamo, l'umidità aumenta progressivamente e il suono è fortissimo, è la sorgente di un fiume. Ecco, per me l'occasione di questi giorni è come arrivare molto, molto vicini a quel momento della nascita dell'atto creativo, che è, come dire, un momento di una potenza straordinaria.